Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel DeCook, and I have the privilege every morning of waking up as the Chief Communications Officer and Advancement Officer for the Reformed Church in America. And it's really been a pleasure to get to know many of you at the conference today. I've been so inspired by your commitments, your passion, and the many stories that we've heard. But today, I have the privilege of introducing a very talented and dedicated RCA Global Missions leadership team. And we wanted to do something a little bit unorthodox today. So we're going to play a game. Are you ready for some audience participation? All right. Well, we'll need that, and we'll tell you the rules of the game here in a minute. But I just am excited to introduce them and welcome them to the stage, and really for you to get to know a little bit of a different side of them and what motivates them in doing the work that we all do together. So I would ask that you turn your attention to the screens, and let's welcome the leadership team to the stage. All right, welcome, friends. How's everybody today? Good. Well, I am going to ask you to each introduce yourself a little bit and tell about your role with the RCA. Stephanie, shall we start with you?
Yeah, hi, I'm Stephanie Soderstrom. I am the supervisor for short-term mission and North American partnerships, and I've been with the RCA for 9 years. Basically, I get to work with churches and individuals and missionaries to plan trips and to see how we can help our North American partners to thrive and grow in their ministries.
Again, I'm Scott Engelsman. I am the Chief Mission Officer for the Reformed Church in America, and I also oversee our mission work in Europe and the Middle East up to India. I've been doing this role for a couple of weeks. I've been with Global Mission for about the past 10 years and with the RCA for about 18 years.
Hi, my name is In-Young Kim. I am Global Mission Supervisor, charged in Asia region and then Pacific area. And also my another job is coordinating for the Council for Pacific Asian American Ministry. I think this year is my 18th year for RCA GSC staff. So I'm very blessed to be with you today.
Buenas tardes. My name is Luis Ruiz, and I serve as a mission supervisor in Latin America and the Caribbean. I am always excited to be able to partner with such great missionaries on the field. I think that's the best part of the job, is that I get to experience these types of stories in a very personal way with each of them and watch them grow and thrive in their calling. And it's been a pleasure to do that. For now, I celebrate 10 years of service with Global Mission.
My name is Derek Jones. I'm the supervisor of mission programs in Africa and Oman. We have working mission programs in 9 countries in Africa and 1 in the Middle East, which is Oman. It's been a joy and privilege to share in this role for the past 19 years. And just to see the vibrant, growing church in the Global South, particularly in Africa.
All right, thank you. Now, are you all ready for a little bit of a game? Yeah. Okay, and how about you guys?
We'll see.
All right. Well, we're going to play a game called Supervisors Tell All, or maybe it's Most. I don't know what it is. But Supervisors Tell All.
I'm not sure we want the first version.
Okay. We'll keep it Most then. But I'll explain the official rules. I'm going to present a fun fact about one of these individuals. And this is a fact that they have experienced while traveling with their job as a global mission representative for the RCA. So we will put that on the screen, And as you see that come on the screen, it's your role as an audience to guess who that is, okay? So pretty simple. And my hunch is it should get a little bit easier by the process of elimination. Simple mathematics here, right?
Everyone should get the last one right.
Yeah, the last one should be really, really easy. But are we ready to play? All right. So on my prompting, I'll read the facts, and then you guys respond with who you think it is on stage, okay? All right, here we go. Here's fun fact number 1. Guess which supervisor said this? I was transported across the tarmac of a small airport by a baggage truck to the terminal due to not feeling well upon arrival into a foreign country. Who is that up here? We'll give you a chance to think. And on the count of 3, just spurt it out. 1, 2, 3.
Incorrect.
Here's the answer.
Wow.
Also, what?
My God. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, it was a trip to visit the indigenous leaders in the Myanmar. You know, previous flight time was almost 26 hours, 27 hours. You know, leaving JFK and then arriving Narita, and from Narita to Yangon, and from Yangon to Kalimio. That's northern part of Burma, Myanmar. So I just, the flight, I was on, just landed. And then I took off plane. And I got some kind of a vertigo because my ear has a problem, 2 years, I don't know, 1 of years. So I cannot make balance. That's why it's hardly standing. That's why I most, fall down. And then the Burmese guy who loaded baggage and boxes, it's kind of a pretty manual work. They just load, luggage and boxes in the open truck. And he just noticed me, the woman is not normal. And yeah, probably, I don't know, being crazy or drunk. He just thinking kind of that. So I just looking at him, and this is a Burmese thank you sign. So I just pointing that truck. So the terminal is a little far away. I need to walk to the terminal. That's a small airport. So that's why he and I do not have verbal communication. We have different language. That's why I just pointing the truck, and he just, like that. So he allowed me to get on that truck. So I just sitting on the truck, and then truck go to the terminal. So that, yeah. I think even though the small airport, there is a regulation and policy, that's not allowing human being to get onto the truck. But the guy and I have a mutual, agreement. And so I just got in there and easily to get into terminal. So it was very embarrassed because people looking at me, and also most of airport, the Burmese military army standing, surrounding the plane and having the gun, and it was embarrassed, but I had no choice. So I just got in the truck. So that's the story, yeah.
Great story.
Let's all get on the same page that if I would have gone like that to that guy, he'd have been like,
Great story, Anh Young. Yeah, and we're glad you're healthy today. So, all right, so we did okay. I heard a few correct answers there. Are we ready
I didn't
for?
hear any correct answers.
I heard mostly Scott. I might have heard one out there. All right, are we ready for fun fact number 2? Okay, guess what supervisor said this? And this is pretty amazing. I have eaten 1 3 to 4 pound piece of fruit as an entire meal. All right, who do you think it is? Let's find out. Hey, hey!
Well, it was in South Sudan, of all places. One of our projects and programs, people don't realize South Sudan, particularly in the area of Ye, where Shelvis has been working since 2011, is the bread basket for the rest of Sudan and South Sudan. So everything grows there. Some of the largest fruit you'll ever see can grow there. Mango, papaya, guava, everything grows. And in Africa, oftentimes, as a guest and visitor, you're giving meat, but they don't always eat meat every day. They don't always slaughter a goat or slaughter a cow or their precious chickens sometimes. So I told them, give me what you would normally feed a normal South Sudanese person. So I didn't want the goat, the beef, and everything else. So they gave me what they would normally eat, and they gave me avocados. That is an avocado.
Holy guacamole.
One of our projects, they teach subsistence farming. So when you follow those instructions, your crop grow 3 to 4 times what the average person's crop may grow. So hence this huge avocado. So I had an avocado for dinner. It was quite delicious. Just need a little bit of salt, and they gave a little bit of greens and so forth. But it was an enjoyable meal. It was a unique experience. And the beauty of going to Africa is being with indigenous people to engage and oftentimes, sometimes share in their meals. I'm not going to eat the fried grasshopper and peanut oil. I'm not going to eat the roasted rat, but I will eat the avocado.
Great story, Derek. Great story. And that looks bigger than a human stomach, actually. Amazing. All right, third fact here is guess what supervisor said this? I flew on a small airplane with a pilot who ironically was afraid to fly and survived. Any thoughts? Who do you think it is? Here's the answer.
This is Scott's favorite story of mine. When I told it to him, I think to this day, you don't stop talking about it. To this day. This is in a country maybe I shouldn't mention.
It's fine. Go for it.
We had a partnership in Honduras, and once you arrive in the large plane, I need to get myself to by bus to about 3-hour drive to the next closest city to get to the eastern side of the country, which is very remote. It's really made up of a lot of indigenous people, and so it's just another part. It's not even what Nicaraguans would consider it to be, kind of wilderness and a whole other place. And so I would go 3 hours to La Ceiba, which is the nearest, the last city before the wilderness, and then I would have to take a flight, a bush plane flight, over to the coast, which is in probably about a 3-hour, 2-hour flight. Well, my taxi, we supported a partnership that was a flight ministry, medical flight ministry, and so that was my taxi. They'd come pick me up. And it was a very, very good partnership and good relationship with the main pilot. Well, the main pilot told me that he was going to retire and was going to pass it on to his apprentice, which I met, and he was a young man, and this was great. And so he was trained, and he had flew with the pilot for several years, and he was ready to go. So in one of my trips that I went out there, and we flew together, we jumped on the plane. In the midst of that, and we've had a relationship, talking to each other, how you doing, those types of things. Well, in the midst of the flight, he said, Pastor, I got to tell you something. I said, oh, yeah, tell me. And we're doing this over a headset. He goes, I really had a really terrible experience the last time I flew. He's bearing his soul up in the clouds. Ultimately, he said, I had a small accident with some birds going through the propellers, and I almost crashed. I am currently afraid to fly. Wow, I don't think I told my wife this story until several years later. So I know she's here. And that was my experience. We landed, and we never talked about it again. Hence, I went to the board of the ministry, and I said, I think it's time to look for a new pilot. And we did that.
I think I'll stick to American Airlines. Thank you. All right, our fourth fact. So it's getting easier. We have 2 left here. Guess what supervisor said this? I went on a hike where we were suddenly surrounded by a massive herd of sheep. I think you guys are getting smarter. Let's see what it says. Hey, hey.
There was like 0 people who thought I would go for a hike.
Yes. So I was with, actually, Felipe and Janelle, who you just heard from. I was visiting some volunteers who were serving with them for the summer at the climbing gym, and they were having climbing camp. We were out in the national park, and they took us on a hike with the kids up into the mountains. And as we were coming back down, suddenly we heard jingle, 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 jingle. And we were walking along, and this massive herd of sheep just like overtook us on the path and went by. And there were like, guys, there were a lot of sheep, right? Like hundreds of sheep. And I was just, I had no idea what was happening. All we could do was just stand there because the sheep have the right of way, and they just went on by. You just have to wait until they're done. So that was it.
It's always good to be a part of a flock, right? All right. How about for Stephanie? Fifth fact. This one should be pretty easy.
Oh, I feel like I can change mine now.
Yeah. Should we mix it up? All right. Guess what supervisor, there's one remaining, said this. I had a police escort to multiple palaces in one day to meet with royal family members. All right, let's see who said it.
To be clear, I wasn't in the police car. Yeah, just last month in December, I was in Bahrain, and the American Mission Hospital just signed a new partnership agreement with the Mayo Clinic. And it's only one of 15 international partners that have this relationship, this partnership with Mayo, and so it's a big deal. And so we went and we signed the agreement at the hospital, and I didn't know any of this was going to happen, really. I thought we were just going to go and sign this agreement, cool thing. And then we get whisked away in these 4 black Mercedes with a police escort across the island, which, if you've been to Bahrain, you know is just congested with traffic, and we're going like 120 down the highway. Wow. And it was awesome. Wow. So we go and we meet with the Crown Prince, and he tells us all these stories about his F1 racing team and weird things, and then we get back in the Mercedes, and we go all the way back across the island to the palace of the king, and we meet with the king. Where the king tells us this story. He says, oh, you guys, I love America. And we're like, oh, that's great. And he's like, no, I love America because when I was young, when I had young children, I spent a year in the United States with my family. I was there doing some military training, and I lived in Kansas, and I love Kansas. And the people of America are so kind. No one ever passes you without saying hello, and they invite you to every party and all these things, right? And I'm like, yeah, well, dude, you lived in Kansas. And he's telling us, and we're in this giant palace. He goes, and we just lived in a simple little home on the military base, and I was like, this guy has no idea what the rest of America's like. but he loved Kansas. If he could go, he told us, if I could go back to live somewhere for a year, I would go to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. I was like, this guy can go anywhere in the world. Tahiti, Hawaii, Fort Leavenworth for him. But that was the culmination of a really, really cool 24 hours, because one day before that, I was in India working with partners there, and we were giving away cows to families who make under $1,000 a year. And this was going to be the income they have to sustain their family. And so within 24 hours, I go from this house where I'm trying my hardest not to have all the flies landing on me to a palace in Bahrain. And it was just this weird juxtaposition of what it is that we all do and the breadth of what the RCA does in the history. So it was pretty cool.
That's
great.
great.
Listen, the palace part was pretty cool.
Let's hear it for Scott. Those are some great stories, and just, don't you think? Great stories, great stories. Thank you, panel. I think it really, I think we can all relate to that. Those of us that travel or that are in the mission field, we all have wonderful stories where God teaches us new things every day. So great stories. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. We're going to end with just one more question to each of you. So this one will get at maybe a little bit more of the heartstrings.
I didn't know there was another question.
There's another question.
I thought we had 5 minutes to tell jokes.
So we want to ask you why you're so proud to work for RCA Global Missions, and why are you passionate about what you do for the RCA?
Derek's been here the longest.
Derek.
Now I'm the old guy in the room. I used to be the youngest guy in the room. However, I am proud to work for RCA Global Mission because it's the rich tradition and heritage of loving the nations, participating in holistic missions. I believe in the RCA's mission principles, and I believe in God's people, whom you represent here today, that have a deep love for Christ and sharing the gospel around the world. And I'm passionate about my work in Africa and Oman. I'm passionate about engaging the global church in healthy, productive ways that promotes, that breaks the cycles of dependency and promotes sustainability, and have healthy, holistic ways of evangelism and outreach and discipleship that equips people to move forth in their faith in Christ. That's what's most rewarding for me. And there are a number of projects and programs in Africa, and I've seen the transformation in people's lives. Some people only see the outcomes, but I know the journey that it takes to get to those outcomes and the investment that it takes and to get there. And the RCA believes in long-term mission, believes in genuine partnership, and all those healthy mission principles, and that's what's most rewarding and fulfilling for me on the journey.
I should have gone first. Now I feel like everybody who's been up here after Shelvis.
I'll be really quick. Everything he said, that's why he's the old head here with us. He teaches us a lot. I'm grateful for a lot of things. Most importantly, I think for the teammates that are up here on this stage, as well as those that serve on the mission field. We have a wonderful team, and it's always a pleasure to be hand in hand, arm in arm, locked together, focused on this task that's Christ's mission. That's my heart, and that's something I love. I tell a lot of people, this is my dream job. I'm living my dream, and I don't think a lot of people can say that. And it's always a pleasure, and that's my greatest blessing in this role?
I just born and raised in South Korea, and I am third generation Christian. My grandmother, early 20th century, I mean about 1920, she received the gospel from a missionary in Korea. And then my faith transformation, formation done by a lot my grandmother. So I can confess I'm kind of a receiver and beneficiary of global mission work, all the missionary work. So now I'm working for the global mission, in other countries. So I just dreaming in, indigenous countries and all other country I'm working with, and I probably, long time later, some of Eun Kim will be raised. So I'm so proud of, global mission doing and my work. So yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm beneficiary, and I can just contribute this great work. And also, you just meet mission field people. You just encouraged and inspired by them. So it's a great work, and I'm so proud of part of this team.
Yeah. I would say for me that it's, I think I started this yesterday by saying that this is about our people, and this is about our missionaries, and how proud we are of everything that they do, and how lucky I am to be able to go around and tell their stories, and to support them in the work that they were called to do. And I think what I'm most proud of RCA Global Mission is our people, and the impact that they make. And if you were at General Synod this year, I said, the reason why I do this is because I want kids all around the world to have the same opportunities that mine do. And it's people like Felipe and Janelle and Doug and Diane and Shelvis and Nancy that make that happen. And I'm just so proud of our people and the way that they show up around the world for others.
Yeah, I was really shaped by mission trips growing up, and really formed by the opportunity to see God moving in different places and in different ways with different people. And I'm really passionate about people having the opportunity to experience God and what God is doing in the world in places that are different from the place that they live. And so I'm really grateful to have a place where I can help people think about, what is it that God's calling me to do? What is it that's on my heart? What are my gifts? What does our church love and care about? And then to think, who are the missionaries that we have that would be a great fit for them? Who can they go visit that is like right in line with what God's calling them to do, and help them make that happen? And we have so many good partners who welcome people well, and who host them, and who show them all of these new ways that God is working in the world, and we get to be a part of that, and you get to be a part of that, whether you are supporting people through prayer or finances or through going. And so I'm really grateful for the whole organization, for our team, and for the missionaries, and I'm just proud to be a part of what God's doing through us, and will be doing through us 400 years in the future.
Amen. Amen. We have a lot to be grateful for. We serve a good God, and you can really feel the love in this room. And we just want to thank each of you for your courageousness being up here on stage. And can we give them a round of applause for all they do? And we thank you as well, and we hope you had fun with this session, this interactive session. So thank you as we end this session, and I'll turn it over to Jordan for some final announcements.